Would you rather own 100% of a little grape or 10 to 30% of a massive watermelon? Welcome to the Nine Doors Down Show, where we discuss anything and everything about commercial real estate and investing. Let's get it.
Nine Doors Down.
John Lopez.
Nine Doors Down.
Hi, this is Tony Rose.
Nine Doors Down.
Hi, this is Anthony Pimentel.
Educating, capital raising, networking.
Nine doors down. Nine doors down.
This is called a show.
What up, y'all? Welcome to the 2025 edition of the Nine Doors Down Show with myself, John Lopez, and Anthony Pimentel. We put this on the back burner for a minute, dude, and it's nice to be back and chop it up with some bright minds in the industry.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's been some time for sure. We've been focusing on our other businesses and specifically to real estate, and excited to jump back on this podcast and start talking with these amazing and smart folks.
Yeah. So this gentleman right here, he has mastered the art of the perfect serve, both in business and in life. Since 2007, Stan Lopez has been a driving force in Las Vegas hospitality and nightlife, beginning as a VIP host and building a reputation for world-class client service and relationship building. In 2021, he transitioned into real estate, where he quickly stood out by blending sales, marketing, and hospitality to deliver unmatched results. Today, Stan is a trusted advisor in the Las Vegas real estate market, specializing in residential and commercial deals, from seven-figure restaurant leases to helping small business owners find their perfect space. And when he's not negotiating win-win outcomes, you could find Stan probably at a pickleball court, where his passion, precision, and competitive spirit shines just as brightly. Please welcome our guest and good friend, Mr. Stan Lopez.
Great intro. Sorry about my video. For some reason, iPhone and Zoom has just been kind of acting weird.
Whatever this combination that you have right now is perfect.
All right, good.
Man, so Stan, dude, for those that don't know, I'm here in the Vegas market. Myself, Stan, and Omar, we all had the same last name of Lopez, and we used to throw commercial collaborators out here in Las Vegas, man. And that's how I got to know Stan a lot more during that time. Definitely Omar, and Omar has done his thing since. But Stan, dude, just right off the gate, bro. I just want to thank you, man, for that time in our young professional lives, man.
Yeah, absolutely. That was so much fun. I was just at Area 15 the other day, and I was like reminiscing of the time when we had our first huge event.
Yeah, that was
That really big tent.
Oh yeah, I'll always remember that photo, man. And there were several partnerships, man, that was formed that night, dude.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy how, just an idea fruition from that. And then we did a couple months of it. We met a lot of people along the way, and it was great. That was like the time when I didn't know anybody, and I was like trying to figure out, like, how do I connect with the like-minded entrepreneurs in this space? Like, why don't I just create our own event and tap into that circle with no experience? It's just really connecting the dots and building the relationships. And obviously that's how I ended up meeting you and then Anthony as well. So it was great.
Yeah, man. So the first question, Stan, is, man, what was life like for Stan Lopez prior to making it big out here in the Las Vegas real estate and nightlife scene?
What was it like before I got into it? Well, I grew up in Hawaii. I was born in the Philippines, grew up in Hawaii, for 16 years. I was there prior to being in Las Vegas. I moved up here in '07, had no job, just had a little bit of money in my account. And I always tell this story is, back in MySpace days, you're definitely in the same age around with me. I posted a bulletin on there, and I happened to get connected by a friend. His name is Jeff, and Jeff was the whole reason why I pivoted into the nightlife space. I wanted to be a valet driver, and he's like, how are you going to be a valet driver? You don't have a car. And I said, yeah, you're right. I don't. about connecting with a guy that I know in nightlife, and he was a promotions manager at the time at Tao. And that's how I ended up starting in the nightlife business. So I walked the strip for 2 years straight, no social media of that sort, no Facebook, no Instagram, right? This was like old school traditional hustling, meeting people, connecting face to face in the hot summers, cold winters, 2 years straight, bro. Like it was crazy, and just seeing now from that timeline transitioning for 2 years of walking the strip, I eventually got asked to be a VIP host. And from there, I did nightlife for 13 years, so many memories in that space. And actually, this week is the 20-year anniversary for Town nightclub. And I was like, damn, bro, we're getting up there. So when I started in '07, I was there for 4 years, hopped around, opening up multi million dollar venues, all the biggest nightclubs, popular nightclubs from Tao, Lavo, Excess, Hot Cassandres, and the Win Nightlife group as well. And then 2020 happened, the whole transitioning from nightlife, figuring out what do I do next. And I've always wanted to get into real estate, but it was never the right timing. I made a lot of money doing nightlife size. I just kept putting it in the back burner. It's like, you know what? It's not the right time to do it yet. But 2020 happened and it was a backup plan. Decided to get licensed. And from that, I ended up pursuing it because I never got brought back. And it was a blessing in disguise. I had the nightlife was kind of like my identity. And I was trying to figure out like, what do I do next? Because you get stuck in that realm of partying and meeting all these cool people around the world and the riches of the rich. That was like one of the biggest perks is like you're just meeting friends and collecting all these people all around the world that from clients turning them into friends. And, we just had access to pretty much everything. That was like one of the greatest things about being in the nightlife is the network. From there, I got licensed back in 2020 and I didn't start really doing real estate till about maybe 21. I found a mentor, but sadly he ended up passing during COVID. And, that was like that was the hope of me going from residential to commercial. He was doing both and I was trying to figure out like, how do I tap into the commercial space? Because most of my friends were residential agents. And in my head, I was like, why am I going to compete against all my friends that's in residential? This doesn't make any sense. And now I know why, because commercial is not easy to get into. You don't have the mentors that's just really going to take you, side by side and hold your hand along the way, right? It's more of like, you got to figure it out and you build the relationships and hope that someone's going to be willing to bring you on as an unexperienced agent, right? So that's really how it happened, from '07 till 2020. Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Great story. I mean, you're talking like a true entrepreneur because entrepreneurs are is once you have some setbacks or challenges, you always got what John and I always talk about. You got to pivot, right? So,
Mhm.
and which you got into real estate. Kind of tell us what made you choose real estate. What was it about real estate that kind of like, hey, man, this is something the wealthy do, or what was it? What was it about real estate?
Real estate's always been something that since I was young, I've always been very interested in. With the higher level conversations, with the number crunching, and just something about development and leasing and just buying and selling. That was like just more of my forte. The sales and marketing aspect of it, I just got it from my nightlife days. It's like, how do I sell a product? How do I sell my services? And I've always just been good at sales and marketing in general. It's just more of how do I take real estate and make it my own? Um, and obviously, wealth is doing real estate. You build your portfolio by acquiring one and just stacking and copy and pasting, right?
There's I think it was post commercial collaborator days, and I remember going in one of my kids' b-boy battles or at District Arts, right? Shout out Ronnie and the whole Full Force crew. I remember you telling me that you were going to focus or put energy into your social media, with YouTube and like in Instagram. And I forgot what year that was. Was it? I think it was like 2023 or maybe end of 2022. I forget, but
Yeah.
touch on that. Like, what made you want to go into the YouTube, the IG, and pretty much, make a presence for yourself? And how did that parlay into real estate?
Yeah, it's a good question. So that's a secret sauce. I want to say it was probably 22. I was watching all these videos and I was just thinking to myself, how do I market myself without being your typical real estate agent? And I'm not afraid to like test things out, experiment, right? I already had knowledge on editing videos and making videos on my iPhone. It's just really compiling everything and creating a story out of it. So I think it might have been 22 when I just said, you know what? Let me just focus on this. It was like January, I think it was January 3rd.
I remember it was cold that day.
Yeah, it was like right at the start of the year, and I was like, you know what, this is like if I'm gonna start, like this is the perfect time to do it because that way I could track like this is the first month of the year, and if I can just solely focus on at least 6 months and put a lot of my effort into doing this, let's see what happens. So I ended up finding this guy that was my inspiration for my videos. His name is Caleb Simpson, based out of New York. He goes all over New York City, walks up to random strangers and asks them, how much do you pay for rent in New York? So he does apartment tours. So if he can do it for apartment tours, what if I take that concept and apply it to businesses? And that's maybe that could be my hook to stand out. And so I asked my friend Omar at the time, this was the concept. I said, hey, I'm just going to pitch him an idea. I say, hey, you have this office building we're working out of. Can I try this video with you? And it was just like, a testing period. So we did the video, we shot it, had the idea, we posted it, and I posted it on Instagram. No, actually, I posted it on Facebook at first. And Facebook versus Instagram, we already know that the algorithm is very different, right? It's two very different type of people. When I posted that video, it started literally going viral within the first 24 hours. And I never knew exactly what a viral video for me was at the time. But that video ended up probably finishing around like 275,000 views. I don't know how many shares. But that's when I was like, okay, proof of concept works, right? It was an office building, a medical office building that I asked him, how much do you pay for rent here? And then from there, it just kind of evolved into doing restaurants. I ended up asking my friend that had restaurants, he gave me a chance. And my whole entire goal was if I can convert a video, a 60-second to 90-second video into a small commission, that was like my end goal. And I could say, hey, this 60-second to 90-second video made me X amount. So following that, I ended up finding other friends. I think I ended up throwing one of my commercial collaborators event at my friend Denise's luxury, what do you call furniture business. And it was just on a whim, like literally. We threw it there and I said, Denise, hey, can we shoot a quick video of your shop, your store? She had like a 30,000 square foot warehouse that she had all this luxury furniture in it. After the event, we shot it. I put it together. And that video was the first super, super viral video that I ever had. It hit 2.7 million views, and I've seen like crazy comments, the bad, the good, and I was like, okay, this is like the recipe that I found that made a lot of sense, right? The how much do you pay for rent? And that time, I think she was saying like it was like close to like 30 grand a month. And so everybody was like, yo, what the fuck? Like that's crazy. People just do not understand how much rent is. And if I could change this space or give some kind of knowledge, right? I wanted to focus on the entertainment, but also the value of education and compile it in one. Like, how do I take this and then run with it? So I ended up finding also another guy that does drone videos for luxury agents, and he does luxury tour drones So I piggybacked that video. I met him at another luxury event and I just was like, hey, I got his information. I have this idea. Do you want to do it with me? He's like, bet, let's do it. So I called another friend. Her name's Wendy. I was like, hey, can we use your house? She has a super nice house in Escaya or McDonald Ranch. And we piggybacked the drone video with her house, posted that video the following day, and that one did like 1.5 million views. So we got luxury furniture business, we got the medical office building, we got the luxury drone business with luxury home. What if we do it for restaurants? Because in my head, I said, how do I make commercial real estate sexy? Because there's nothing really sexy about it, right? Like luxury homes, that's super sexy. Commercial real estate, you're really selling just boxes, right, with walls. So I ended up taking the opportunity. I said, what if we try it for restaurants? And we started doing like small business owners, started doing, a little bit. There was some views here and there. And this one guy found me out of all the videos I was doing. He reached out, this guy named David Zhao. David Zhao is the founder of Chubby Cattle Group.
Oh,
Yeah.
yo.
So I'm not sure if you know who he is. David Zhao he's a 30 under 30 in Forbes, I believe. And this guy owns Chubby Cattle Group. So he found me through social media. He reached out. He's like, hey, we should do a collab. And I was like, oh shit, like this is big. So that's how already I was thinking. If I can turn that video into commission, that would be like, that's like the ultimate end goal. So he finds me on social media. He's like, hey, I own Xpot. I was like, oh, I'm very familiar with that restaurant. It's in the Palazzo, super high end. We shoot the video. It takes me a week to edit, right? Because I was like, oh man, this is like a 3-hour dinner. I shot all of these clips. So I was like, I gotta make this look dope. And that literally, like from the videos that I captured, and I filmed everything through my iPhone. It took me a week to edit, put the storyline together. Like I'm like a run and gun shooter, so I shoot everything first, and then I'll create the story as I edit. Took me a week, and then we posted it, and that video went bananas, bro. Like if I can remember, it's like 61,000 shares, 1.7 million views, and because of that video was my first six-figure commission because of that video.
Six figures off of YouTube or off of real estate?
No, like off real estate because we found him a space in Boca Park.
Heck yeah.
It's an 8,200 square foot restaurant, second gen restaurant. We did like a 10-year lease, but that 10-year lease equated to basically like a six-figure commission check. And that was the entire goal. Like the reason why I started this was like if I can just do one video for someone and turn it into commission. I did it for a couple other businesses and it's paid off.
Wow, man. Your story's freaking amazing. It's inspiring. It's actually I know some of my sons, like I think one of his friends just got into real estate, and some of the tips that did tell him was you got to make yourself stand out. And he's good in social media, but I think, dude, he's gonna love this episode because you dropped some gems, man. This is
Yeah.
pretty much anybody can do it. You gotta just put in the time, you know?
Yeah. It's really just I put my own flavor in it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a perfect video. At the end of the day, it's like the things that I remembered is like just press record and capture everything. And nowadays, like Gary Vee says, like you just gotta document. If you put yourself in a mindset of I'm documenting versus I'm creating, it's two different mindsets, right? And it's the same thing of talking to one person in your video versus talking to everyone is also very different mindset when you speak to a camera. So there's a lot
Yeah.
of things just over time that I've learned when making content, like who are you speaking to? Who are you trying to teach? And these were the things that I implemented to just kind of stand out because commercial real estate, like it's a blue ocean when it comes to creating content. Nobody really does it. And residential, you're competing against all your peers that's making content. So it's like, how do you stand out? And just being a commercial agent making content, you're standing out already.
Yeah, man. Great tips, man. Really, really, really appreciate it. And I'm sure our audience is gonna love it. I mean, especially as they're trying to grow their business. So, want to kind of fast forward now that you've kind of found your niche and you saw some positive with the social media. Like, did you build as you built your clientele, like did you see more businesses opening and or did you start getting connected to more business owners? Kind of tell me how that transitioned and then if it kind of grew your business as you're starting to lease up, more restaurants, whether it's or storage or anything.
Yeah, so when I first started commercial, when I met John, I tapped into the multifamily space. Obviously, it was hot between 2020 and maybe 2023 at its peak. Then it started kind of slowing down. And my first 2, 3 years, I didn't make money, like zero, almost basically zero. And that's the tough reality with commercial real estate is how do you get clients, right? How do you have these conversations and meet people to build your book without having to do traditional marketing? For me, with the videos, with social media, that really helped like generate a lot of leads for me. With social media, a lot of my referral business came from the videos, not necessarily my nightlife background of 13 years. Like that didn't really start coming in until year 3 when I was already becoming like I started being established. And I think it just goes to show like it doesn't matter if you have friends, not everybody's gonna use you as a realtor, but eventually if you plant the seeds, they will come and they will notice that hey, you're out there doing the work. I'll tell you right now, the social media presence was a big differentiator for my business, but also one of my hidden gems is Facebook Marketplace. Like nobody really like I don't really share a lot of that information, but I get a lot of business from Facebook Marketplace. You
And
know,
you heard it here first on the Nine Doors Down show from Stan.
Yeah.
yeah, and it's crazy because there's people on there that just, I average on a busy month or maybe even a busy week, I'll average about 5 to 10 conversations a day, just random strangers. Right? And it's really about just having conversations. Like, how do I go out there without having to go physically talk to 10, 15 people? Well, the internet's there. I don't do any type of paid advertising on that. It's really just any of my listings, or I'll ask a listing from someone else that's willing to share their listing with me. Like, hey, can I help you market that? Not necessarily the bigger brokerages because they don't typically like you doing that, but more for the boutique ones. I build the relationships like, hey, do you want me to help you market this? I'll just post it up and I'll get my leads from that. The other thing is, one of my biggest ROIs is the Meta glasses, the Facebook Meta glasses
Yeah.
from Ray-Bans. That's one of my biggest ROIs. And the reason why is because I literally take maybe like a 10, 15 second behind the scenes video where I'm walking my clients into doors of restaurants, industrial warehouse spaces, retail spaces, whatever, right? And I'll just take a quick video of them just walking behind them and I'll just post it on my story. And people have hit me up just from that because they're curious to see like, hey, what's Stan doing out there? Like, I want to see what that space is, right? Because most people are looking at my stories like, oh, he posts a lot of restaurants. I might need a restaurant or someone needs a restaurant. So they'll share my story with them, other people.
When you started building this presence, AI wasn't really around
No,
to
it
what it is
wasn't.
like right now. Are
No.
you implementing any AI into your overall operations now?
Just when I was making my videos, like some of my lifestyle videos on my page, I would do Chat GPT just to help create the script, like my voiceovers. But nothing else really like super deep, no deep research. Actually, the developer that I work with, his team does whenever they create like their offering memorandums, they'll do a deep research with their developments for that space. But aside from that, for me myself, I just do it more for voiceovers.
It's pretty impressive, Stan, like how like organically and just like you're doing a lot of like personal touches, dude, and you're creating a presence that is like much larger than people really think it is. And
Yeah.
and you kind of touched it on earlier, like 2020 to like 2023 was like the peak of it, right? And you were just getting into, the commercial side, you were trying to wiggle your way through it. Now, when you started implementing the social media, I know that it garnered interest, your way, right? And so this is what was that 2023, I would say, right?
Mhm.
And since then, the Vegas market has shifted. There's reports like tourism's down like 7-8%, tariffs and whatnot. How has the Vegas market specifically, just Las Vegas, like how has it shifted from a few years to now, and where do you see it 24 months from now?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So, I mean, with the amount of population that we've had in Vegas, the growth, we had a significant growth just from 2020 alone. A lot of outside uh, states, California, Arizona, our surrounding states, there's a lot of transition that happened. The growth factor, I don't know exactly. I don't really, it's not one of my tools that I kind of use to leverage, but I'll tell you right now, just from my experience of the amount of inbounds I'm getting from like the restaurant side, there's been a lot more people that's been trying to get into the market, but also there's been a lot of people that's been exiting the market. Meaning, like I'm tracking 2 years ago, I was seeing maybe 150 second gen spaces come on market. Now it's close to 300. It's doubled up,
Wow.
right? And I think the cost of goods, the cost of labor, development alone as well on the commercial and the residential side has been affected, right? And tourism, yes, is down. It does affect the economy for Vegas. And what I'm seeing right now in the next 24 months, I think we're gonna have a steady growth. It's just nothing like there's a lot of businesses that have been still coming into Vegas because of the tax benefits, right? That's like one of our biggest benefits of being here and creating your own LLC and your incorporation. But as far as what I'm seeing in 24 months, I think it's just going to be a steady growth. I don't think we're going to have any type of downshift a lot longer. I mean, obviously, we've seen the interest rates come down. And that's affect a lot of the buying power for both parties of residential and commercial. My development team, my developer, they haven't really been buying out here in Vegas. They've been looking at Sunbelt states in general to find opportunities because there's not a lot of margins here in Vegas for that on the redevelopment side of retail plazas or industrial warehouse spaces. They've been focusing on like Arizona, Miami, Texas, Oregon. Uh,
Man, great insight, dude. Because I mean, you're seeing it from like both, both ends, right? And do you still touch on residential sales?
For friends and family, I'm not really focused on it. To be honest, it's more of a friends and family referral. I mean, I'll sell it if it's there, but most of my business has been on the leasing side, and I'm slowly transitioning into the representing buyers and sellers. But majority of my business is like people asking, small businesses asking for spaces to find.
Yeah. Okay.
So with your clientele, is there a certain hot area that where they want to be? Maybe you can touch on that where these new restaurants are trying to pop up or businesses or whatever. What kind of take us to that?
Yeah, so I mean, for the restaurant side, I mean, it's typical your Henderson, Southwest, Summerlin areas, and then Northwest Centennial has been heavy, but a lot of the times, the presence in Vegas is a lot of competition when it comes to food and beverage, right? People are wanting to get into a restaurant. They might have restaurant experience on the operation side for where they work, but operating a business is very different. They don't take into account the numbers, like the margins, because it's a very, very hard industry to really tap into as far as making money. A lot of businesses fail within the first 2 years. I mean, I've had restaurants where I've leased them spaces, and within 2 years, they're like, hey, we can't do it anymore. We need to sell it, right? And there's a lot of people don't realize what landlords require for you to get into a space in general, right? The numbers are high nowadays. Before you could probably see, like when I first started, the per square feet rates were averaging about 225 to about 275 per square feet. Now you're seeing it 275 to 350 a square foot. And that's just base rate. That's not including triple net fees, or AKA what's called CAMs, common area maintenance. And if you're not familiar with commercial leasing, those are two rates to really focus on. Just your base rate plus your triple nets, right? Your triple nets are your taxes, insurances, plus anything maintenance wise that the landlord puts on the tenant, right? If you have security, if you do water, if you do lawn, if you do, any type of maintenance on the property, they put those fees onto the tenant. So that's typically how it works. And then they ask for a personal guarantee. And if you don't meet the standard requirements of a personal guarantee, or if you do meet it, then that's when you get qualified for the space. But if you fail your initial term, they can come after your assets, right? Most people don't understand that. They're like, oh yeah, it's easy to sign a lease, but 2, 3 years down the road, their business defaults. Now they're coming after your house. They're coming after any of your properties that you've disclosed with them. So yeah, it's the sad reality.
Yeah, that's some good insight because I know all too well. I've owned a restaurant. I owned the franchise restaurant for 10 years, Dickie's Barbecue, and yeah, it is one of the toughest restaurants. Is one of the toughest things to own and operate.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
mean, it's
mean,
a big dream for people, but once you get into it,
it is.
very difficult.
It seems all nice and shiny at the beginning, and then you
Yeah.
partner up with the wrong people. Man, I've heard a lot of stories, but you partner up with the wrong people, or something happens within the family, or you just run out of money. There's stories recently where they bought a company or they bought a restaurant, they tried to open too quick. Within three
Hmm.
months, they ran out of cash, and they just
Oh,
signed the lease. Closed,
wow.
the doors closed. So it's like, and it was a known restaurant that people liked. They were busy. It's just the new ownership just didn't take into account, you know, the revenue.
Now,
Yeah,
is that something like just from your experience as you know, as you being the broker or the specialist in the real estate side, are those conversations you kind of talk about with these with your clients?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me at
Right.
least, I do. Like, I tell my clients like, hey, look, I want to find you a space. I always put myself in your shoes as an
Yeah.
operator. If I owned a Mexican restaurant versus a Thai restaurant versus an American restaurant, do you fit in this specific plaza or this parcel of retail space? Does it make sense for the mixed tenants to anchor you as a good F&B user? I don't want you to come back in a year, 2 years from now saying, hey, this space doesn't work for me. We got to take into account your finances and what you have, because a lot of these guys that come into retail or restaurant leasing have no idea, right? It's
Yeah.
like they have big hopes and dreams, but they don't know how to run their numbers. So I do have that conversation with them from the start if they're brand new. It's part of learning, like, how do you have these questions and pre-qualify them so that they don't fail in the next couple months and tell you, hey, I got to return the keys back to the landlord. You
Yeah,
know,
no, for sure, man. I think kudos to you, man. That's such a it's so much value to someone, with your experience to be able to give that input because, as new entrepreneurs opening restaurants, the first thing that, they get that shiny object syndrome, like they get all that excitement until the money runs out. So that's really good because sometimes you don't just have to. I remember when I was looking for the first time locations, I'm like I got the data. Oh, foot per, how many cars per, what is it called? Cars per for that
vehicles per
specific
day, or
cross
yeah,
street,
yep, there's a
all that,
couple.
and then foot traffic, all these things that you look at, like that's all data. It's really, you really got to research the area, and you're right. It's like who are your competitors,
Yeah.
right?
And
Like
most people don't even do that basic research, right?
I
Like,
was fortunate enough that I had that mindset to do that, but I think, like I said, that's so much value that you actually do that for your clients, and
yep.
it's awesome, man.
And I see this side of the business, and for me alone, like I already know a restaurant is hard to operate. And just seeing the numbers and the consideration it takes to put a restaurant together, I mean, I give it up for anybody that's very successful, but even anybody that wants to try it. And the crazy thing is what I've noticed too is this is what I tell a lot of these restaurant guys, like there's three things that would really impact your business. One is obviously location is great. You can have the best location, but also it doesn't matter if your food is decent and you have shit service, like you're gonna fail. Those are my three things: location, service, good food. Like those are my three things whenever I tell people, because you can have a decent or not even a great location and you can still make it. Like one of my have you guys heard of the restaurant Amano Vegas? Amano Las Vegas?
I haven't.
No.
So they're not in a great location, and I did content for them when I first started doing content for my restaurants. And he's in the northwest corner in like a retail plaza that's hidden. No idea. I would never ever expect where he is, but because he has a very, very strong social media presence from one of the foodies out here, Las Vegas Phil, he put him on the map. People Uber it or taxi it from the strip, round trip, $100 just to have his food. And he does
Wow.
these things called the Fat Baby or the gondola, which is like it's an Italian restaurant, but they do like a lot of what's considered as stunt food. But the stunt food is also good, right? Big pizza that they roll up and then put pasta in it and then drip like the pasta sauce all over it. So it gets millions of views, and he's in a shit location, but because his marketing is so strong, people want to try it, right? Like you could have a good location. The restaurant I told you about that lost their space within 3 months. Great location. Just ran out of money. Good food. I don't know how the service was, but the first location, it was just one of those QSR quick serving restaurants that you'd
Yeah.
go in, dine in, or take out. But they failed because, you know, who knows? Grew too fast and just ran out of money. I don't know.
Man, so here's another Las Vegas trend that that became hot in the last couple years, and it's actually I definitely know it's national. I don't know about global. I wouldn't doubt it, but I remember a few times when I bought these two wooden pickleball rackets, right? And at that time we went to the park. It was probably like 7 in the morning. Couldn't play because there was a bunch of senior citizens playing, man. And but obviously we're talking about pickleball. How did you get into pickleball? And what are some of the benefits? I mean, maybe this is a question for both of you guys. Like, what is it about pickleball that helps you out, like personally and potentially even business wise?
It's funny. So I got into pickleball by another friend of mine who's a luxury agent 2 years ago. And I had no idea what it was. And he's just like, "Hey, have you ever heard of pickleball?" I said, "No." He's like, "Well, I'll go let's go meet at Sunset Park." And I played it. The f- that first game, it's funny because I actually recorded it and I was like documenting my first day experience. And I was running for a ball, I chased it, and he chased it with me. And I was just so like, what do you call that? Uncoordinated at the time that when I chased it, he was behind me. I didn't realize, and he ended up shoving me to chase the ball. So we both ate shit on the floor. And because of that, he felt so bad the following week. He's like, "Hey, I bought you this like $300 paddle." And then
Oh,
just from there, I was like, "Oh shit, this is like, all right, I'm gonna give this as a try." You don't just gift somebody a $300 paddle just because. So I ended up getting addicted, like anything else. There's those stages of pickleball. But I've leveraged I've leveraged the sport in a way where I've networked with a lot of people, and I've benefited from turning those into business. There's a lot of people now they're saying that pickleball is like the new golf, right? You're taking a lot of your business meetings on golf courses. Well, now people are doing it on the golf on the pickleball court. So that's helped me transition with a lot of my business and the relationships I've built with that. And it's been fun, you get the exercise from it. You play 2, 3 hours and it goes by so quick. I just came back from Hawaii, because that's where I grew up, right? I brought my pickleball paddle with me and I went to like 3 different courts. I made friends and one indoor facility that I went to in Hawaii in Oahu downtown. I met this guy that was like, "Hey, I'm actually looking for commercial properties up in Vegas. I want to invest." And I was like, "That," and it was just like one of those things. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's been good.
It's been pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, I think just quickly share my story. I got into it. People, I mean, I have some coworkers who shared the game with me. I played it, but I was really not really into it. Um, Played more golf. It's not till I went to a indoor gym near my house. I went there and just got my ass beat by some 60 year olds slamming on me. Not just tap it or hit it nicely. No, you pop that ball up, they're slamming it on you. And from
Yeah.
that on, I really just started like mid-January this year. But I'm telling you, from that on, I haven't stopped playing just because of the fact that I got humbled and I don't ever, I'm pretty athletic. I have good footwork, but those players, doesn't matter what age, they'll
Uh,
smash you. And that's what made me start playing pickleball.
yeah, bro, it's crazy because I've heard this before. It's like this is the only sport where you could get beat by someone double your age,
Yeah,
older or younger.
that
And
is
it
true.
happened already to me. I had a 12-year-old I was playing singles against and smashed. I got smashed by a 12-year-old, bro. So,
I
and playing doubles and singles is two completely different
Yeah,
like skill set.
for sure, for sure.
You
But
know,
that's awesome, man. I love your story. It's mine is very similar. I just had a humbling experience. That's what it was, and sure
definitely
enough,
humble in pickleball.
you can get humbled easily. And the social aspect of it, I met a lot of business owners. Guys who who have regular jobs but high positions. I meet a lot of realtors because they have free time, so
Yep.
they'll
Yep.
play in the morning, which is really really cool. Now, with the I would say with the what was I gonna say? With pickleball being so big now, have you seen more business on that part in the Vegas side where, empty warehouses, let's say, opening up pickleball spots? Because I know in California, we've actually had several locations open up. I just don't know how they're doing, but I want to see if that's something in Vegas that's happening as well.
Oh yeah, it's big. It's big. Actually, I toured a facility today for a pickleball user. I'm touring two tomorrow for another two. The challenge with pickleball facilities here in Vegas is that where like landlords that have the warehouses, it might check off all the parameters and requirements that you need to create a pickleball facility. But if you're doing that at a warehouse, the challenge is either the clear height, it doesn't meet the minimum requirement for some people, right? Most people want it 18 foot or higher on the clear height, or the parking lot, right? So parking lot situation is they have the warehouse, but the parking lot situation is too small. But also the swamps versus HVAC systems. A lot of these older warehouses have swamp coolers. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with how swamp coolers work, but
Yeah,
they're like a sponge, right? That just
yeah,
filters the water inside and just blows it out. And that only cools the warehouse down by about 20 degrees. So if it's 115 out, it's only gonna you're sitting in a
yeah,
95-degree warehouse. So that's the challenge. And then any developments now, the developers are required to put HVACs on anything made 2025 and up. But then that also goes down to the tenants, the cost wise. How much per square feet is it going to cost now with a HVAC fully 100% HVAC warehouse versus a swamp cool warehouse? And then the other option, which like Pickler, and we have a Pickler out here, a franchisee, they have a 28,000 square foot retail plaza, but the retail space is significantly higher Usually with that space, you're probably getting at like maybe $2 a square foot. If you're lucky, you can probably get it under $2 a square foot. But retail plazas are a lot more expensive than warehouses. Warehouses, they average $1.25 a square foot to about $1.50. So the expansion here for pickleball has been huge. I know there's a couple franchisees already looking in town aside from the Pickler, and they're trying to expand in the Summerlin location. But it's just hard finding the right space for a lot of these guys because of those things.
Yeah, I mean, I think your electrical bill is going to be ginormous.
Yeah.
Um, Especially keeping a certain temperature in Vegas for sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like most people don't mind playing outside when it's not super hot. Obviously, we're in Vegas, so it does. I mean, I've played in 115 degrees and it's not fun. Luckily, there's a indoor facility now here, but it's 9 courts, and there's a couple more that's being opened that has helped relieve some of the traffic, right? There's another place that's I'm a member at. It's called the Pickleball Universe. It's an old wedding chapel. Well, it's not old, but it's a wedding chapel that's been around for a long time. They used to have tennis courts on the outside, and they converted the tennis courts into pickleball courts now. And then
Wow.
there's 16 courts that they built outdoors, and then they're building 16 indoor courts next year. So 32 on this plot of land off of Dean Martin and like Cactus or Silverado.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. I gotta take you
Pickleball,
to come
pickleball,
back.
pickleball. Yeah, man. So this next question, Stan, is probably going to be the toughest question you've ever been asked. Are you ready?
Give it to me.
All right. You're stuck on an island, dude. No family, no friends, no business partners, no clients, and there's no internet. There's no cell phone reception. However, you can bring your phone so that way you can store the MP3s or whatever. What is that one artist or album that you could listen to on repeat over and over again until you get rescued?
Oh, that is a good question. I mean, I've been into EDM recently. I would say Rufus Du Sol is an
Okay,
artist that I could listen to on repeat over and over. Yeah.
I love it. What's the name of that artist again?
Rufus Du Sol.
Rufus Du Sol. Okay,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, my
is
girlfriend,
it,
my
is it
girlfriend put me
DJ or
on.
is a vocalist?
They are actually there are three in the group. There's three
Okay.
DJs in the group, and they are amazing performers, like live. But they also DJ. If you look them up, there's a very popular YouTube video that I always watch from them, and they recorded it out of Joshua Tree, and they all play instruments, and they sing. Very, very talented guys. But if I got stuck in on, yeah, they would be the artists I would listen.
You'll be jamming to them. I'm gonna look them up.
Yeah.
Awesome, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, tell me what you guys think. My
Okay.
girlfriend put me on to them like 4 or 5 years ago, and that's definitely my favorite.
Actually, one of our other guests, he told us he likes listening to low frequency music. It's like more meditation,
Oh
and we
yes,
were like, "Well, that's pretty crazy." And then, I found myself now listening to that for like driving around. If I have a long drive, it's pretty
the
soothing.
lo-fi,
Yeah,
lo-fi. Yeah,
yeah, pretty
yeah.
interesting.
I like the lo-fi. It's like kind of like the morning coffee type of music.
Yeah, get a chill vibe.
It's a good frequency music for sure.
All right. So my question to you is, are you a tropical type of person? Well, this might be easy because you're from Hawaii, or you like more mountainous regions.
You would never guess. Bro, I grew up in paradise. I'd rather be in the mountains, to be honest.
Really? Oh, snap.
Yeah, I'm more of a mountain guy. I like to snowboard. I love the cold. I guess it's like
Really?
always that one thing. It's like if you got spoiled with it when you're growing up, you don't, you're not used to it. Like for me, I grew up on an island, right? Paradise. I prefer the city and being around mountains. It's like what I never had. So my girlfriend's
Right.
the opposite. She grew up in Detroit around that. So,
Yeah.
but she loves Hawaii. And I'm like, we're total opposites.
So where is your bucket list then? Where would you want to go if you had a choice?
Where would I go? Oh man, that's a good one. I mean, I want to go to Japan. I haven't been to Japan. I want to go to Europe for sure. Go snowboard out there and Japan. And I would say New Zealand.
New Zealand, nice.
Yeah, those are on the bucket list.
Good stuff, man.
All right, New Zealand it is. All right, last question is, Stan, what's your superpower?
I'm a connector. That's my superpower, man. Like I've always had a thing for energy and meeting the right people and connecting them to the right circles. That's why we started with commercial collaborators, and within that short time span that we did it, like we made a lot of connections,
Sure
you
did.
know. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's my superpower, man.
I could definitely see that. I could attest to that, Stan. And just seeing your growth in the last like couple years, bro, from the times that I remember when you picked me up from my house to go, just to have lunch, and then from that conversation into like what we're having now. Kudos to you, Stan. Like you stuck it out and you rode it out through the tough times, bro.
Dude, thank you. Yeah, it was rough, man. It was definitely not easy. I've had my fair shares of up and downs, more downs probably than my ups, but I stuck it out. And, my friend Robbie told me, he's like, because he's in commercial real estate, he's like, bro, trust me, after your year three, if you just keep doing what you're doing, you stay focused, you don't get distracted, don't go back to nightlife, I promise you, you're gonna be very, very successful. And yeah, we're here.
I love it, Stan. I love it,
Good
man. So
stuff, man. Appreciate you.
So where can our listeners where can they find you? Any websites, social media handles, any specific YouTube channels to be on the lookout for? Please
Uh,
share, man.
it's just Instagram, Stan L0PEZ. Just keep it simple. Yep.
There you go. Well, Stan, again, thank you, man. It's gonna be exciting to see your growth and how you document your whole your pretty much your life, man. So keep it going, dude. We're definitely on the sidelines as fans of yours, bro. And it's great to call you a great friend as well. And for those listening at home, you can find us on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, YouTube, pretty much all your favorite podcast channels. And on that note, this concludes another episode of the Nine Doors Down show. We out.
Peace.